Martin and welcome to MC Guitar, my new channel. It's Tone Thursday and it's episode 4, the first one that's actually been on this channel and under my new MC Guitar branding. Hope you're all doing really well. And in this Tone Thursday we're going to look at amplifiers. We're going to see my two amplifiers behind me, which is my Ibanez TSA15 and my Egnater Tweaker, which in many ways are very similar. They're both 6v6 driven 15 watt amplifiers. They've both actually got the same speakers in, because one I've put the Celestion Neo creambacks in both speakers, which is a 60 watt 8 ohm speaker. So we're going to see how the different tones and how the different sounds and different amps affect it. So to keep things simple, I'm going to play Mikey today. I've got my guitar close-up cam in operation, and we're just going to go through some clean sounds and some drive sounds very briefly, and I'm going to switch between the two. I'm literally going to move the mic from one to the other. I have my amp clamps on both of them set to roughly the same place, so I just need to move the mic, swap the lead over. Very quick change. So initially you heard me plugged into the Ibanez, which I'm really liking lately. It's very Fendery, whereas the Egnater is more Marshally. Although it tries to do different things with its tone stack, it still, I think, sounds best on that sort of edgy breakup Marshall kind of tone. Whereas, let's say, the Ibanez is very much a kind of blackface Fender, super clean thing. It has a tube screamer circuit in, which I don't use very often. It also, although I had to use it on Sunday when my Volto ran out of juice on my portable pedal board at church, went down, so I had to just plug straight in. So I turned on the tube screamer. But other than that, I don't use that. I do use the boost, and because it doesn't have a proper effects loop, we're just plugged straight into the front of both amps. So this is the Ibanez clean. And then the Egnater clean. So you can hear it's just screwing up slightly. I'm using position 2, which is the neck and middle pickups at the moment. I'll also switch across to the bridge. And on the Ibanez. I should say at this point that I'm miking up the amps with my Shure Beta 57, which was from last week's demo one of the better sounding microphones. It's easier to work with than the 56 for the purposes of this demo, but the two Beta series standard dynamic mics definitely were the winners from everything that people sort of said to me after seeing the video, and I agreed with them. I am, however, getting more level out of it this time, because I've got an inline preamp by Triton Audio called the FET Head, which is, I think, an 18 dB preamp. It just runs off phantom power, plugs in line in the cable. Fantastic bit of kit. So that's in line to boost the level going into the audio recorder. Works a treat. I normally use them with ribbon mics, but it works pretty well with dynamics too. So let's add some overdrive with the Shiba Reloaded. Again, bridge humbucker on the Ibanez, and I'll switch to the neck and middle position, and then I'll do the same on the Egnater. that the clean amp very much passes through the character of the pedal more, whereas it just kind of enhances the Egnater tone, which the amp tone itself is already providing some of the drive, and that's just giving it a bit more of a push. So it's just one of those kind of things where the relationship between your amp setting and your pedals is really important, and it's important to kind of get your head around it really. Interestingly, my favourite pedals for using with the Ibanez amp is my Keeley modded Blues Driver and my Keeley modded Super Overdrive, two Boss pedals. They're a little bit noisier than the Super pedals, which is why I don't have them on my main board. But to be honest, the Sheba Reloaded and the Coco Reloaded together do give me pretty much the same range of tones the way I have them set. So let's now look at fuzz and see how that responds. So we're already plugged into the Egnater, so let's just go with that. That's amazing, an even more telling kind of tonal difference, where the fuzz into the Ibanez amp, the clean amp, is very fuzzy, it's very fizzy sounding. It sounds like the fuzz pedal on its own does, whereas going into the Egnater definitely has more of a kind of fat amp-like character. And this fuzz doesn't seem to really respond too differently to different pickup selections or different pickups even. It kind of sounds like it sounds, which is again one of those things about fuzzes. Finally, let's look at a compressed clean sound, just because that probably in the edge of breakup amp is going to push things a little bit, and whereas the clean amp, it will literally be that crystal clear kind of funky tone. But let's find out. As expected, the Egnater, it was just kind of sounding fatter, more sustainy, but still sounding like the amp. So, what conclusion can we draw from this? I guess the ideal situation would be to have one of each and A/B switch between them, which is certainly something that I'm looking at doing. Not perhaps always the most practical, but the cleans on the Ibanez are just a much more sort of natural sounding clean sound, whereas the Egnater is really good for that kind of edgy breakup tone. I have been very inspired by a number of guitar players who use different amps and different pedals in combination. I'm going to be making a video fairly soon about my kind of top 5 guitarists then and my top 5 guitarists now. And one of my favourite guitar players now is Eric Johnson, who uses 3 distinct amps setups, and he has a clean, slightly dirty and more dirty setup. And I can definitely understand, having played around with the amps here, the appeal of that for all the hassle that it may be. So I'd be really interested to know your feedback. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for coming along to this new channel. If you haven't already, click subscribe, click the thumbs up on this video. I'd really appreciate that. Tell people about my new channel. Until next week, when we look at another aspect, I think next week we're going to look at speakers and the impact that can have, because I have 3 pretty much identical speaker cabs from Egnater, but with different speakers in. The creamback, I have a greenback, and I have the stock G12H30 speaker in. So we're going to plug those in and see which one you like the sound of best, because at the end of the day it's about finding your tone, my tone, anyone's tone. That's what Tone Thursday is. Take care guys, speak to you soon.